Welcome to this week's Practice What You Teach. This week we have Josie with us. Welcome, Josie.
Hi, everyone.
So tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
All righty. Well, my name is Beth Jackson, Josie Beth Jackson. I am a retired RN. I am a retired former Charlotte firefighter, and I am also now a crystal healer and a Keys to Freedom healer. And sound bowls and chakra balancing are the biggest things I do right now. So I don't do nursing anymore because obviously I don't fit into that format. So I've been doing crystal healing for about 10 years. I've done it the longest.
Yeah. So just kind of shifted into a different kind of healing,
Right.
but still kind of in the helping role.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
tell us a little bit about like what is crystal healing?
Okay. It is crystals have a certain vibration. So I'm going to get real simple here because I don't want it to be confusing to anyone. Each crystal, and of course that would be nice if I was holding a crystal, wouldn't it? Gee whiz. And I've got them all around me, but I can't reach and get one right this second. I will get one though. So each crystal has its own vibration, just like we have multiple vibrations in our body. Well, each crystal has one vibration and it never changes. It never, ever changes. So when we hold that crystal's vibration is going to affect us. We're never going to affect the crystal. We have vibrations that are like crazy. They change all the time. Our bodies in different areas have different vibrations. Obviously, our energy is all over the place. That little crystal's energy never changes. So that's how they kind of help us. They sort of seep into our energy with that one particular crystal's energy. It's really simple in a way. They just work because they're just there. When I first started doing crystal energy 10 years ago, I was in love with crystals in general. They're beautiful, right? I got to a place where I got really concerned. And so received a really good message from my guides that said, no, Mother Earth is actually saying here are my crystals. These will help everyone raise their vibration and heal. It's one tool out of many. There's many tools we can use to raise our vibration, and this is just one of them, but it's such a simple one.
Yeah. And you're right, they are really pretty. So it's once you get into it, it's really easy to kind of
Yes.
like
Yeah.
go all in on it, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And so when it comes to like using crystals in terms of healing, like what what are some of the ways, kind of the question of the show, right? What are some of the ways that you actually use your crystals for your own healing that other
Okay.
people might be able to kind of learn from?
Absolutely. It's very easy. This is the greatest thing of crystals is you don't have to put a lot of energy into it. Obviously, wearing them is the first and foremost. I have plenty. Wearing them, I wear them constantly. I wear them all the time. They'll get to be a point where I know I have to take them off and cleanse them. And, I'll touch about that a little bit. It's super easy on that too. But I wear them all the time. I keep one under my pillow. If you're having trouble sleeping, obviously you could look up a crystal that will help you with insomnia. Amethyst is one of those. Slide it under your pillow. I tell people to constantly have them on their bodies when they're leaving their home. When they're out in the energy of the world, keep you a black tourmaline on your body. I do, because that's protection and that keeps the negativity off of you, right? Because we're out there with all these other people and energies and everything's kind of crazy. Carry a black tourmaline. So I carry it, I wear them, sleep with them under my pillow, have them all over my home because obviously they raise the vibration in your home. So that comes to the point of whether you use the different kinds like spheres or points, the different ways that they're shaped. We can touch on that too. Spheres are your best bet for your home because it's a 360-degree energy, right? So I use them. I even have them in my car. I keep a tiger's eye in our car always. It's been there for years and years and years. When you want to meditate, obviously crystals are going to help raise your vibration while you're meditating. Also, if you want to work on your chakras, you take those chakra colors and use that color crystal on your chakras, and you can lay there for 20 minutes and get you a beautiful meditation with fixing and hoping to balance your chakras.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's just a few of the ways.
Yeah, but those are really practical and thinking about, whether it's having some of the bracelets on your wrist when you're kind of going out, or kind of keeping those things in your car, and throwing some under the pillow. Like those are some things that are quick, easy. I like minimal effort, minimal
Yes,
energy investment, but you can get
so
the
much.
benefits from that.
And can I say one thing real quick that just made me think of this? As we're sitting on this computer, please do not put quartz between the computer and your body. Quartz, I want everyone to know that quartz is always amplifying. It's always amplifying. So any quartz, rose quartz, clear quartz, amethyst, just do a little research. Don't put a quartz in front of your computer and you're in between your computer and your body, because you do not want the EMFs being, sent to you. So put a black tourmaline between you and the computer to keep your body safe.
Yeah.
It's a really important one. Because
Yeah.
people in their workspace, I know that people ask me this question all the time. They'll say, okay, at my desk, I have like 7 crystals on this side and 4 on this side and some behind me. What do I do? Always, there's no rules. There's no rules. There's a very few rules. And one of them that's important, like I said, is not having the quartz between you and the computer, or you and it, don't put it in front of your TV. Use something like shungite or black tourmaline in front of your TV, in front of your computer, blocks all the EMFs. Okay. Yeah. So that's a simple, easy thing we can do to make it easy. So you can have quartz in your space at work, just not right there in front of the computer.
Right. So maybe off to the side of the desk, right? Like
off
in the corner,
side.
off to the side.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but kind of like not in this.
Yes, not in this little space right here.
Right. Right. Yeah. So, I mean, certainly it seems like some of the practices are things that maybe there's a little bit more intention with, putting the jewelry on when you go in and out, maybe kind of like doing the chakra crystals on the different points. Those are ones that maybe there needs to be a little bit of mental investment to kind of think about, what do I need to do here? But some of these other ones, like maybe kind of putting them around your home, or positioning them on your desk and then kind of like leaving them there. It seems like those things some ways can be a little bit of like a set it and forget it kind of thing. So much more kind of like low energy.
I will say this, even the ones that you set around your home or your desk, that you can kind of, like you say, leave, forget about it. Now, once I get a crystal, I like to put an intention into it sometimes, not always. Sometimes I just want it and bring it home and put it on the shelf, to look at. But even the crystals that you have sitting around your home, and maybe you haven't touched them in a while, maybe they've been sitting there a while, they definitely still need to be cleansed and charged, because if they sit there out for a long period of time with no energy moving, that's not what we want. We want to keep them cleansed and charged so that they bring what they need to bring to the room. Sure. So just, people ask me, how often do you cleanse and charge your crystals? Now, there's a lot of folks out there that absolutely love doing the full moon, and I encourage it, and I tell them that's wonderful. If you can drag all your crystals out to the full moon, yay. For someone like me, who that would take a month to get them out there, I don't do that anymore. There's such a simpler way to do it. You can smudge them with a smudge stick. I literally walk around my house with a singing bowl, and my singing bowl clears and cleanses and charges my crystals. The super easiest way is to have a piece of selenite. Just a piece of selenite. You put all your crystals on selenite, it charges it, cleanses them overnight. They're good to go the next morning. So super easy, not a lot of work to it. Yeah,
lots of different ways you can do that. And it sounds like you just kind of go with, in terms of how often you do it, maybe just how often you're feeling you need to do it.
What it feels like, what's your intuition. Sometimes you can walk into your home, and go, oh, it feels sort of dead in here. That's why people like to smudge. You need to clear that energy out of your home. Same thing with crystals. You'll look at it and think it needs cleaning. So just throw it on some selenite. Yeah.
Yeah. And so in terms of, I'm hearing, certainly with some of the ones that you recommended that maybe you wear, or that you throw under your pillow, or ones that you might kind of like put between your computer or your TV and yourself, how do you know for yourself because there are so many crystals out there, right? Some of them just look really pretty, and then some of them may not not be the most attractive looking, but I imagine still have like
Tons of
being
power.
and a purpose and a job to do.
Yes.
How do you decide for yourself, or how do you know which one to use when?
When to use it? Well, there's two ways you can do it. And when I teach my classes, this is what I always try to tell everyone. You can do the research. You can literally, Google it. Say, if you were going, okay, I want a crystal for my migraines. You can Google crystal for migraines, and it'll give you a list of maybe 10 or 12. And you can go to the store with your list, go down the list, and of course it's going to speak to you which of those 10 or 12 you are going to use, right? The other way is intuitively.
Mhm.
Same thing. You just walk in a store. I didn't do any research. I just walk around and I look at the crystals and I pick them up. I read about them. Most stores will have a little bit of information on a piece of paper for you. If they don't, we all have that computer hooked to our hand that we can look it up, right? So when you walk into a crystal store, and it's a little overwhelming because there's beautiful crystals everywhere. Take your time, first ground yourself, basically putting both of your feet on the ground. Take a moment to take a deep breath, stand up straight
Mhm.
before you get so excited that you can't see straight, because crystals kind of are exciting. And then when you walk around and look at them, people always say to me, they're like, but if I pick one, it's because I just think it's pretty. That's a good enough reason. There's
Mhm.
a reason that that particular pretty one is calling you, because there's 42 other pretty ones. So
Yeah.
don't get caught up into, is this the right one? If it calls you, you'll know it because you'll pick it up and go, I just want this one because it's pretty.
Yes.
9 times out of 10, I tell people, you go read about it, and all of a sudden your head, you'll go, oh, that's why I picked this one up. It's very intuitive, but it always works. It always
Mhm.
works. So pick what makes you feel happy, feel good. Pick, like you say, now there's a lot of ones that aren't pretty, like black ones, black tourmaline, black obsidian. If you need a grounding one, it's going to call to you. Even that black one will call to you, and you'll go, why do I want this black stone? There's a reason. Intuitively, your body's like, no, we need that protection and that energy. Let's get that stone. It's very intuitive. I think if we could get out of our heads some
Mhm.
with it and just feel, if it makes you happy, grab it. It's real
Yeah.
simple. It really is simple. I mean, yes, you can do the research. Absolutely. I always like to go with intuition the best.
Yeah, because it seems like if we do the research, well, and it seems like
It works. It
either
works.
way, it seems like there we
Mhm.
can risk kind of falling into that trap of like there's a right one.
Right.
There's one right one to help with sleep, or one right one to ground me, or one right one to maybe kind of like help me maybe reflect on this big decision
Mhm.
that I have to make.
Mhm.
There's not going to be one right
And
one.
let me speak to the overwhelming to the other extreme, because what you were just saying, there's not just one for sleep, there's probably 40 for sleep. So that's where people get overwhelmed. They walk in and they'll look at me and they say, look, I need a crystal for sleep. That's the easy one for sleep. Usually it's love. Everybody's wanting a crystal for love, rose quartz. But they'll say, I want a crystal for sleep. And there's 42 crystals. I looked it up on Google. How do I know which one of those is for me? And once again, it does go back to, okay, well, this one you really like more than you like that one.
Yeah.
Once again, it goes back to intuition, because there are so many. So I just want people not to get caught up in the rules and regulations and what they think they need, and just go with what feels good. Because
Yeah.
what feels good is what your energy is pulling towards you.
And I imagine that there's a little bit of a connection, and I could be wrong on this. So if I am, like, call me out, but I imagine there's a little bit of a connection between kind of like maybe the ones that look pretty to you and that you're drawn
Right.
to, and kind of like the intention that you're going to put into it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a connection. Absolutely. When you walk in the door of the shop and you see those 5,000 crystals, there's a reason you get pulled to that one particular one. There's already that connection there. They're really such fun. They're such fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Are there ever times where you use like a combination of crystals for things, or
Yes.
is it like
Yes.
one at a time?
No, let me speak on, thank you for bringing that up. So there's a thing that they used to call crystal chaos, which is where they say people have too many different kinds of crystals on them or around them, or they're trying to use too many at one time, right? That all those different energies sort of bang together and make it a little chaotic.
Yeah.
I have never had that happen to me. And I don't know how to speak about that because I've been around them for a very long time and I have so many and I've never felt any kind of crystal chaos. I honestly don't think that's a thing anymore. I think we've risen as physical humans, we've risen our vibration up in the last 10 years from where we started on, and that we don't have that anymore. But with that being said, I would advise, especially for people who are just starting out, to start out with 3 crystals.
Mhm.
You can work with 3 crystals very well on your body.
Mhm.
Um, you can have more. Now, if you have a bunch of crystals beside your bed and you're not sleeping well, move them all away to another room and bring them back one at a time and see if there's one particular one that's keeping you jacked up, maybe not letting you relax. Everyone's so individual. Our energies are so individual that it's kind of you got to test yourself. Let me try this one. Let me try this one. Which one works better? Which one's keeping me up? Which one's making me relax? So it's so individual. I have crystals. I probably honestly have probably 300 in my bedroom and I sleep fine. But someone else could lay down in there and say, "Oh my gosh, I can't sleep in this. It's too high energy." So
Yeah.
just when you're starting out and you don't really, maybe when you're first starting out, I would say use 3 at a time.
Mhm.
See how it works, see how those 3 work together, but it still goes back to what calls to you. Those 3, there's no right combination. Whatever 3 work.
Yeah. If somebody wanted to maybe kind of get into whether it's starting with 3 or maybe even like just 1 or 2, if they wanted to kind of like start getting into like a more like intentional practice with it, like what is maybe something that maybe you do that, maybe something that they could do like once a day just to kind of start to connect with kind of this like crystal healing space.
Absolutely. I suggest always that people should have a rose quartz. If you don't have any other crystal in the world, I think you should have a rose quartz because we all need that unconditional love. Rose quartz is pink. It's about the heart. It's the heart
Mhm.
chakra. So obviously it's unconditional love for ourselves and others. So I always suggest a rose quartz that you can carry with you, that you can meditate with, you can sit and hold, you can sleep with it. It's very gentle. Like literally you can glue it to your body 24/7 and it's not going to hurt you, right? The other thing I say is you should have a black tourmaline or a smoky quartz for grounding. And I do this every single day before I leave the house, or sometimes when I come home from being out in the chaos. I will take that black tourmaline or the black smoky or brown smoky quartz. They're both very grounding, right? Once again, with the grounding crystals, you go with which one speaks to you. Black
Mhm.
tourmaline is my favorite go-to because it's such a, you don't have to clean it very often. Sorry, but I do have one right here.
Yeah.
So this is a really big black tourmaline, okay? And this one is wonderful for grounding and protecting, and they come in tiny ones. These are wonderful. I use this every day. So what I want you to do is if you were needing to ground, so if you're feeling anxious or you just feel like you're not grounded, a very simple technique is take one of these and put it on the floor, sit in a chair, put your feet flat on the floor. Think about your spine. It's very important for your spine to be straight. Put your
Mhm.
feet on the floor. Put this black tourmaline or smoky quartz between your feet and put the other one in your receiving hand. Now, let me speak about that just a minute. Your receiving hand is usually your non-dominant hand. So I'm right-handed, right? So my receiving hand is my left hand. My giving hand is my right hand. So
Okay.
we receive things through our left hand and we give out through our right hand. So that's just how our body kind of works, right? So what I do is put the other one in my hand. So I have one on the floor between my feet and I have one in my left hand. And I'm just going to sit it right, just like relax my hands right in my lap, close my eyes, and literally you're going to count your breath 1, 2, 3. How slow 1, 2, 3 in and 1, 2, 3 out. It's so simple, 3 times. And at the end of that third one, you will feel that anxiety has left.
Mm.
Wonderful, quick, easy. You can do it anywhere. Nobody even would have to know what you were doing. You could even
Right.
do it at work. So that to me is the simplest, quickest grounding technique there is.
Yeah. Yeah. I like how tangible that is, right?
Yeah.
Something, you know, kind of, very much kind of, where to kind of put the two stones. how to do kind of that breathing, 1, 2, 3 in, 1, 2, 3 out, then
Super simple.
three
Super.
times. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the other thing you can do is you can always put a stone. Obviously, a lot of times I will sit with a crystal in each hand.
Mm.
There are times when I will sit with the crystal in each hand and I'm all over me. It just depends on what kind of day it's been. Now, another thing that we can do for ourselves that I think is super easy for people who are just starting out. I haven't spoke about clear quartz. Clear quartz obviously is something I feel like everybody should also have, even though I don't promote it as much as rose quartz. You can make your intention anything you want in a clear quartz because it's kind of generic, right?
Mhm.
So if you are wanting to get energy off your body, so if you're feeling anxious and you're kind of feeling like you're all wound up, you can take crystal points and you lay them beside you. Just lay down like you would in Shavasana or if you were meditating, and you put those points all around your body, pointing away from you, because that point is going to pull that energy off of your body. Now, if you're having one of those days where you literally cannot find the energy, you take those crystal points and you turn them towards your body, and it pulls energy into you.
Okay.
You just can lay there and do a little 10, 15-minute meditation, and those points coming in or out, and whichever you need, will do amazing work.
Yeah. Yeah. So many different ways that you can
Here
kind
he
of
is.
use this stuff, right? And going back to what you talked about a little bit ago, there's not one right way
No,
to practice this, not one right crystal to use or like method of using it. It's finding what works for
it's
you.
finding what works.
Yeah, and that might change over time. So if people wanted to learn more about crystal healing or maybe kind of get some guidance on kind of like what might kind of help them with what they're looking for, how can they find you?
Me? Also, can I tell them about a book real quick?
Sure.
There's a really good book that I recommend for anybody just starting out. It's Judy Hall's Crystal Bible.
Mhm.
And it was the first crystal book I ever purchased probably about 15 years ago. I still go to it, even though I have 20 crystal books, because you never can have enough, just like crystals. Every time a new book comes out, I'm like, oh God, I got to have it. And really, it's got the same thing in it the other 20 books have in it. But anyway, Judy Hall's Crystal Bible is such a simple, easy way to learn about crystals. And it's a good way to start. I do crystal classes once a month at Sanctuary Imports, and they're usually on Saturdays. So I always say follow Sanctuary Imports Instagram for crystal classes or for our sound baths. I also have an Etsy account called Turtle and Wolf. I'm also do a whole lot of crystal trading one-on-one, so they can get in touch with me through my email, which is turtleandwolf2408@gmail.
Mhm. Yeah, and we'll put links to all of that stuff. The book, the accounts, your email. We'll put all of that stuff down in the video description so you guys can find it easily to get in touch with
Thank
Josie.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for coming on and talking about this. I think it's something that could really have some possibilities for some people and something that I think just not a lot of us really know a lot about.
I agree. I feel like, to me, I will say this really quick. I know we're limited, but I want to say the two things I feel like that are really easy for people to start with are crystals and sound baths, because neither one of them it's not like you're going to go down the scary path. I mean, crystals are just the best friends in the world. They're friends. In a sound bath, I'm like, you just lay there, and you get this amazing sounds that raise your vibration too. It's such a good starting point for people that are kind of trying to figure out what their spiritual path is, what they think, what they believe. Those are the two easiest ones to start out and try.
Yeah, yeah. And you offer both of those at
Yes.
Sanctuary.
Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you.
Well, again, thank you so much for coming on and joining me today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you hit subscribe so you're up to date when new videos are coming out, and we'll see you next time.